Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a bit of gaming history, maybe, or perhaps its future. We're looking at the BUBSY 4D Steam demo review. The big question is, can this new 3D platformer actually, escape the shadow of BUBSY's, so let's call it dubious past?
Yeah, dubious is a good word. And the review we're looking at, well, it lays its cards on the table. The author flat out says they hate BUBSY. So the focus isn't if they like the character. It's more, does this specific game show any signs of actual redemption for the franchise?
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack this review and figure out if BUBSY 4D is potentially scratching an itch for platformer fans, or if it's just, choking on a hairball, as the review puts it.
Yeah. Let's start with the scratch, the positives. Because surprisingly, the baseline seems pretty decent. The review actually says it distinctly improves on BUBSY's dubious past in almost every way. That's quite a statement for BUBSY.
It really is. They highlight the visuals, colorful, creative aesthetics. Things like these thematic worlds with knitted doily highways and stages apparently made of thread and needles. Sounds kind of unique.
It does, and that creativity feeds into the main strength, which seems to be the movement. They really liked BUBSY's mobility, especially in the air. You can apparently string together moves, jump, double jump, a forward leap, and then sort of gently float down, almost like a parachute.
Okay, so more control than the old games.
Way more control, it sounds like. Plus, there's this inflation mechanic. You can puff up and roll along half pikes to build momentum. It feels like they're aiming for that intentional, momentum-based gameplay he always lacked.
Right, and technically, it sounds like it held up okay.
Yeah, the preview build was apparently mostly glitch-free. That's a plus. The tutorial is concise and useful, which is always good. Oh, and generous checkpoints, marked by, litter boxes.
Litter boxes, okay. Clever, maybe.
Real.
Or maybe a bit on the nose for BUBSY. Still, checkpoints are good. Fundamentals seem okay.
Right, the fundamentals are there. But this is where we kind of pivot to the hairball part, the weaknesses. The biggest issue seems to be level design and just general refinement. The reviewer felt the demo stages struggle somewhat in fundamental level design.
How so? Like compared to what?
Well, they compared it to modern classics like Astrobot, saying it felt unfinished next to those. A key problem was that the goals were always glaringly obvious, so there's not much incentive to explore or, discover things.
So you've got this fun movement system.
Exactly.
But the levels don't really give you interesting ways to use it. That sounds flat. The review said the environments were remarkably vacant.
Yeah, remarkably vacant, very few enemies around, and the ones that are there, apparently brain dead and quite easily dispatched.
So there's no real challenge layered into the 3D space, it seems.
Okay, that lack of challenge is one thing, but then there was something the reviewer really hated, right?
Oh yeah, the unforgivable sin, as they called it. A mandatory time challenge.
Oof, in 2025. Right, it forces memorization over actual skill, which interrupts the flow.
Yeah.
The reviewer basically said it wasn't fun even 30 years ago, let alone now.
Yeah, that tracks. And what about the sound, the audio side of things?
Not great, apparently. Music described as unremarkable to droning. Elevator music that was then run through an N64 nostalgia filter doesn't sound appealing.
No, and BUBSY's friends or family, they show up.
They do, and apparently they're just annoying. Described as worse iterations of Sonic's terrible friends, which is quite the burn.
Wow, okay, so level design issues, lack of challenge, annoying time trials, bad music, irritating side characters. It sounds like a lot of negatives piling up.
It does, but interestingly, there's a twist with BUBSY himself, his personality.
Oh, how so? Did they change him?
Seems like it. They gave him this heightened self-awareness. He's apparently very sarcastic now with this kind of 40-something exhaustion vibe, like he's just over being a mascot.
Does that work?
The reviewer thought it mostly works, even if the script leans on easy stuff like, obligatory poop jokes. It wasn't laugh-out-loud funny, but the sarcastic tone landed okay, apparently.
Interesting. So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for someone thinking about this game?
Well, the core verdict seems to be that BUBSY 4D is a bright, interesting template for a 3D platformer. The movement mechanics are genuinely good. It's not bad at all in that sense, but it needs a lot of refinement. Tighten up those empty environments, add a real challenge, maybe rethink the time trials.
So the potential is there. The scratch is possible, but they need to clear out a lot of that hairball first.
Okay, so here's the final provocative thought for you to chew on. The developers are clearly trying something different here.
giving Bubsy maybe a wisp of dignity with this self-aware, tired humor and fixing his awful controls. But does leaning into sarcasm and sort of meta-commentary on being a failed mascot automatically excuse decades of genuinely bad games? Or is that self-awareness just another coat of paint on something that still needs fundamental work underneath? Something to think about. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.